Sometimes the best hitting or pitching coaches on baseball teams weren't necessarily the greatest hitters or pitchers themselves. You have guys like Barry Bonds, someone who put up the greatest statistics in baseball history as a hitter, yet lasted only a single year as a professional hitting coach with the Miami Marlins. Tim Hires is a highly respected coach around Major League Baseball and in the game in general. Someone who was never necessarily an incredible hitter in his day, but one who has a great hitting mind, and someone who has helped several Red Sox hitters get better over the years. Hires is now hitting coach for the Texas Rangers, and he's already in trouble. Not for anything he did, but for something his very own son did. On November 1st, 2021, Red Sox hitting coach Tim Hires was moving on from the team, and it was his own decision as he declined the Red Sox offer for him to stay for at least another year, and onto a new team he would go. A few days later, Hires landed a job with the Texas Rangers. Okay, cool. Let's now skip ahead to the post-MLB lockout world, and all of a sudden, there's a new scooper in town breaking signings. The name is MLB Drops, and whoever this person was, they sure knew what they were talking about and reporting, because on March 15th, this MLB Drops account reported that Brad Miller was in agreement with a deal with the Rangers. Ken Rosenthal then confirmed this with one of his own sources and actually credited MLB Drops for being first. A couple of days later, pitcher Garrett Richards then signed a one-year deal with the Texas Rangers, and who had it first? None other than MLB Drops again. Jon Heyman, another big reporter, then confirmed it, crediting Drops. So out of absolutely nowhere, a random Twitter account started to break some news even before the big reporters like Ken Rosenthal and Jon Heyman did. Now granted, these weren't any big signings, but still impressive nonetheless and eye-opening. Among those signings being broken, they also put out a report about the Rangers being interested in Trevor Story. Well, we now all know the identity of this Twitter user, and I'll tell you what, they sure aren't Bruce Wayne levels of smart in keeping everyone oblivious to the fact that he is Batman. It doesn't necessarily take a genius to figure out who this person was, because they pretty much put a bunch of pieces out in front of us. Let's now put some of those pieces together. As you probably noticed by now, yes, all of those reports MLB Drops broke were Texas Rangers related ones. Okay, interesting, but then you have the one that completely gave it all away. There's an account on Twitter, or there was rather, named @Hires_Joseph, with the name being Joseph Hires. In this kid's bio, he had quote unquote one half of MLB Drops while also calling himself Rangers and Grizzlies dude. The reason he said he was one half of the new Insider Baseball account was because there was one other kid running it as well, with this Twitter user being named @CoopOlsenFan, presumably an Oakland A's fan who knows this Joseph Hires kid. Well, Batman and Robin are no more, because they have both put their Twitter accounts to private, and to add on to that, all of the sudden, the MLB Drops Twitter account was deactivated. The whole story was basically that Joseph Hires, one of the Rangers hitting coach Tim Hires' kids, was leaking things out to the public trying to get some clout from it. Either thought he was being slick or that his father would never find out what he was doing with the info he gave him, but regardless, the MLB Drops Twitter account is no more. Busted. What's interesting and what we don't know, of course, is how much of a role Tim Hires played in this. Was he feeding all of this info straight to his son to report? That seems unlikely, but how else would Joseph have gotten that information? He must have told him some stuff but did not know what his son was secretly doing behind his back. Whatever the situation was, it's a pretty crazy yet hilarious situation, and one that I thought I might as well share and talk about with you guys. Oh, and it looks like we have actual footage of when Tim Hires found out what his son was doing and took his phone. Watch.
No?
No.
And, oh yeah, moment of silence for Twitter account MLB Drops.